Hello and welcome to Saurav's classes. My name is Ashmita, and in today's class we are going to discuss about certain application form questions and how to answer them. Like how you can fill it up with the best possible answer to grab the opportunity for the job vacancies. Let us discuss in today's class. As you know that while some sections of a job application form only need straightforward factual answers such as your personal details or your education history or any other information that'll demand you to work a little harder, you may be asked to write a personal statement or maybe asked competency-based questions. Now, these will require you to discuss specific times when you have demonstrated the essential skills and qualities for the role, referring to the job description and person specification outlined in the advert. Now, while the precise wording of questions may vary between job application forms, they tend to cover similar ground. So here in today's class, we are going to discuss around 10 typical application form questions, and I would be providing you with sample answers how to write them. The very common question that you normally get in an application form is, why do you want to work here? Now, what is this question basically asking you? The employer is trying to figure out your motivations and whether you have given serious consideration to your application or not. So you need to show that you have done your research and understand exactly what the job entails. Explain how it fits into your long-term career plans. For example, I'm giving you a sample answer for this question, why do you want to work here? Your company stood out when I was researching the leading electronics companies in the country. I'm aware of your dedication to the development of innovative consumer products, and I believe that this role would be the perfect fit considering my strong design background. So that was my sample answer from my side. Obviously, you can modify your answer based on your application type. Now, the second question that is to be discussed in today's class, and one question which is once again like very common for these kind of application forms, is why do you think you are suitable for this role? Now, what is this question trying to ask you? Over here, you need to describe how your skills, your knowledge, and your experience can match the job outline, while also explaining your motivation and goals. Now, how can you answer this question? Now, let me give you a sample answer for this question. Why do you think you are suitable for this role? You can say, I have always wanted to work as an exhibition designer for a museum that embraces cultural changes and provides a sensory experience for their visitors. My degree has helped me to develop key artistic and organizational skills, while the experience that I gained from working at my local museum has been the ideal preparation for a career in this field. I would relish the opportunity to be part of the team that works on the concepts for your upcoming exhibits and collections. So that was the sample answer that you can modify and obviously tell and fill it up in your application form. Next question is that is quite commonly asked in the application forms is, briefly outline your relevant skills and experience. Like, what is this question trying to say? Like, even if you haven't had any direct experience, you can still highlight any transferable skills that relate to the role you're applying for. Like, turn your answer into a positive one by making it clear that you want the job in order to gain experience in that particular area. Now, what exactly can you answer to the question like briefly outline your relevant skills and experience? Providing you a sample answer that although I haven't had the chance to gain work experience at an advertising agency yet, I have already created high-level concepts that have been used by leading brands such as Marks and Spencer. And at the university, I was the copywriter for a number of students' union marketing campaigns, and have generated interest in my work through my website, which I have designed myself. So you see, that was a sample answer from my part. You can modify it on your own based on the job role and the requirements. Another question that is quite commonly asked in the application forms and you need to answer is give an example of when you have worked under pressure. So this is a very common question that is like asked in your job interviews face to face as well as in your application forms. So what is this question basically trying to ask you? You need to prove that you have handled deadlines like successfully in the past, and you also need to describe how you overcame obstacles that you had no control over. Now, what can be the sample answer for this one? Like, how can you frame it? Like, for example, during my work placement last year, I faced various conflicting demands on my time due to the fact that my role was interdepartmental. One particular week, the pressures did threaten to get overwhelming as a number of key staff members were off sick. However, this allowed me to show that I could rise to the challenge. I left the company with praise from my peers as I always gave my best no matter what. So you see, this is how you can answer this kind of a question. Another question that you may face while filling up the application form is, what is your greatest achievement? Now, talking about the achievement, choose something outside of your academic life, all right? That's uniquely significant to you. Choose something that is uniquely significant to you, all right? This is an assessment of your attitude and motivations to find out whether your values are compatible with those of the organization or not. Now, what can you answer to this kind of a question which is asking you which is your greatest achievement? Now, you can frame an emotional one also, or you can make your own answer. But from my side, the sample answer would be, when my mother was diagnosed with a serious illness last year, it was obviously a traumatic and stressful time for the whole family. Even though I hadn't done any sport since school, I decided to sign up for a run and raise money to increase the awareness of the disease. I trained hard for a number of months and kept it to a strict eating regime. I managed to raise nearly pound 3,000 for the charity and finished the race in a time I could never have dreamt was possible. So that is how you can answer this kind of a question. Another question that is quite commonly used is, or asked basically, is give an example of how you made a positive contribution to a team and what was the outcome. So what do you need to see over here, right over here, is that first of all you need to understand the question. Like, the employer is basically checking that you have experience of working in a cohesive team environment. You need to describe a scenario where you had to draw on strengths and qualities in order to accomplish a group task. So explain your particular role, how weaknesses were overcome, and what you have learned from it. For example, you can say like this, like during my time in the University Film Society, we decided to run a series of workshops for the local community. My role involved planning the daily activities, ensuring that the intensive course covered everything we wanted to include, and while some tasks did overrun, the event was a resounding success, with attendees remarking on how well it has been organized. Another question that you can come across is, describe an occasion where you have had to communicate complex information. Now, you all need to understand the question, that what kind of occasion you have to talk about where you solved or communicated complex information. Now, this is a test of your ability to analyze the complicated information effectively and also communicate it in a way that the audience can understand. So set the scene and describe your thinking process in a step-by-step way. So how will you answer this question, that is, describe an occasion where you have had to communicate complex information? Like, for example, you can say, for my scientific research project, I had to present the ideas behind my thinking to the rest of the class. While presentations were common at the university, this was a particularly complex proposal. I had to filter the relevant information and summarize my work, delivering this at a level that other students could appreciate and also understand. The next question that is once again common in the application forms or in normal interviews is, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced and how did you handle it? Now, what you can see over here, Like for example, now first of all, you need to understand the question, that is the employer will be looking to find out about your attitude to challenges as well as your ability to problem solve and overcome the obstacles. So you need to provide a significant example that demonstrates your adaptability in this area. So what kind of answer can you frame for this question, that is, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced and how did you handle it? Now you can say, in my summer job working in a busy after sales department, I inevitably had to deal with some tough customers. This was my first real job, and I had to learn to successfully negotiate and interact with many people throughout the working day. On many occasions, I was the only staff member manning the desk, so I had to cope with the pressure that this role demanded. I now feel that I'm better equipped to handle whatever challenges come in front of me. So that was the answer to the question that I have provided. Now moving over to the next question that you can get in your application form, that is, what are your greatest strengths and weaknesses? Now this is also a very common question that you have come across many times if you have given an interview or if you are preparing for any interview. So what can you answer over here, or how can you present your answer? Now, describing your strengths may come more naturally, but when it comes to your weaknesses, it is important to be honest and you reveal the things that you are genuinely looking to improve on. Your answers need to be well considered and tailored towards the role you are applying for. Show them that you are actively looking to learn and grow. So what are your greatest strengths and weaknesses? What can you write over here, or what can you say over here? For example, you can say, I'm a driven person who works hard to attain my goals. The ability to overcome the obstacles and follow things through to completion has always been a strong point. The ability to overcome any kind of obstacles and follow the things through to completion has always been a strong point of mine, which is why I have managed to thrive in such a competitive degree subject. However, I'm aware that as a perfectionist, my delegation skills could be improved. I could welcome training in conflict management as well as any other opportunities to develop. I would welcome training in conflict management as well as in any other opportunities to develop in this area. So that is how you can frame your answer. Now, another question that you can expect in your application form is, discuss a time when you failed to complete a project by the deadline. Now, you need to understand this question first, that your response should adequately justify the reasons for missing the deadline. While there are various ways to approach this, you will need to give a good explanation and also demonstrate that you have learned from the setback. The employer is looking to determine whether you'll manage your time effectively in the future or not. How can you present your answer? Like for example, you can say, in my first year, I failed to hand a history assignment in on time as I had underestimated how long it would take to complete the project. I got carried away with the gathering of information and left the write-up to the last minute. I lost marks on my final grade, but fortunately still managed to pass the year. This has never happened since, as I have made a point of allocating sufficient time to each task. I certainly learned a valuable lesson from the experience. That is how you can answer this kind of a question. Moving over to the next question that you can expect in your application form is, please provide further information in support of your application. So what kind of further information shall you include with the application? All right. So this will usually be placed at the end of the form and is similar to a personal statement, making it one of the most important sections to get right. So never leave this section blank, thinking that it's enough to get just the answer. Never leave this section blank, thinking that it's enough to just answer the questions. It is an opportunity for you to show the employer why you are the best candidate for the job, kind of like a cover letter. So you'll need to relate your skills directly to those outlined in the job description. So that was the entire discussion for today's class. Now, if you want to learn and prepare yourself for any kind of competitive examinations or any kind of mains or prelims or interview sessions, then you can definitely join our classes. That is at Sourav's classes. We will provide you with live lectures, recorded lectures, portal access, which will be available to all the candidates 24/7. You can watch those lectures anytime and every time. We will also provide you with crash course facilities, mock test facilities, worksheets after every sessions, and also we are going to provide you with the solutions to the previous year's question papers, solutions to the unsolved papers, and sample papers. So if you are by anyhow you are preparing for any kind of entrance examinations, then you can definitely join our classes. Our website link is given in the like at the starting of the video, or you can also find out the website link as well as the phone number in the description box below. Let me tell you the website link, that is www.souravsirsclasses.com. That's the official website from where you can fill up the enrollment form and then you can submit it. We will help you out and guide you through your path towards success. So that was all for today's class. We are going to meet once again in our next classes.